Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you my anticipated, very late top 10 building video. This took me a while, I've kind of putting it off for a bit, but I think I've nailed it down. I mean, I might change my opinion. Again, with the character thing, I honestly think I probably would change God and Alice Glick around after thinking on it for a bit and hearing some comments, mainly from Spring King, but and reading some other things about it. I don't know, maybe I would switch them around. It's a close, it would be close, because I do think, although yes, God is very expensive, he's a very awesome character to have. But Alice Glick, there's something makes a click, you know? So yeah, so with the buildings, we'll see. But the buildings are a lot less easier to do because it really comes down to just a subjective opinion, I think. Because if you don't, obviously, yes, price comes in there. Like, you obviously going to think about the price of the building. But for me, I don't know. I think buildings can be worth donuts if they look cool enough. So I kind of neglect the donuts in a lot of these, and yeah, I mean, if they have an awesome feature especially, that's another good thing. So yeah, we'll go into some honourable mentions. I've got 3 honourable mentions that I want to talk about briefly, and then we'll get into the top 10, although the 10 is kind of tied just because it worked out that way, but I'll explain it when we get to number 10. So let's hit it with the honourable mentions, the first of which being the Springfield Union Station. So the main reason why this didn't get my list, although I love the size of it, I think it's a perfect size. It kind of, my biggest issue with it is because of the size of other buildings, it looks a bit dumb. I think this would be the perfect size for this building, but like the other buildings around it, just, I don't know, I've tried placing it in a few different places. It just looks really dumb next to other buildings. My other kind of critique of it is we haven't got any trains or anything, so it feels kind of pointless having a train station when we don't have any trains or train tracks or anything, even if they were just decorations and they weren't actual like a functioning train track. I would have preferred it if we, you know, got something. I still hope that eventually they will turn the Union Station into like an actual train station like the monorail is, but I get that that could be very kind of confusing and a bit too much for the game if we have a monorail and a train track. So I get that that could be kind of a bit weird and a bit annoying and a bit confusing. But yeah, I do like the Union Station. Apart from all that, I still think it's a good building. I just don't think it quite made my top 10 list. Fallen Diva Apartments, another kind of residential building. Well, it's a residential building. There is a lot of residential buildings on my top 10 list, as you'll see. In terms of this one, I like it. It's a very nice building. Again, it just comes down to I preferred the others above it. So yeah, there's a lot of good things about this. The character it came with wasn't amazing, but I do think that the building is pretty cool. So I gotta give it props. It's a good building. Lapita Appetit is my last honourable mention. It's a nice little restaurant. I wished it was a tiny bit bigger though. It's my only critique about it, and partly the main reason why it hasn't made the list. It's one I've wanted in the game for a while. I remember doing like a kind of idea video talking about it. It's quite a cool little building, kind of one of these corner buildings that is quite unique in some ways, and it's easy to place, it's easy to decorate. So it's a nice building all around. But now we shall make it into our top 10 lists. Our top 10 list anyway. So number 10 is the Speedy Mart, Joe's Tavern, and Springfield Elementary. So I kind of lump them all into the same thing, mainly because they're bundles anyway. So you get them in the same purchase. So I really like these. Actually, was it a prize or was it a purchase? I'm not even sure. I think it was a prize actually. I forget now. But I really like these buildings. They're cool. They're obviously parody buildings of the previous buildings that we've got. Obviously Springfield Elementary, Moe's Tavern, and the Quickie Mart, so the Speedy Mart. And yeah, they are just spoof buildings, but I like them. I think they're pretty cool and they're easy to decorate. It's cool to try and make your own little Shelbyville. I hope we get a few more Shelbyville buildings. There are a few more that they definitely could add. Yeah, so they're pretty cool buildings. I like them. And they're easy and nice to decorate, and it's cool to see some little parody buildings in there. So yeah. The main reason why they're not any higher, I would probably say, is they're parody buildings. So it is essentially replicas of what we've got before. But it's not like they were replicas in the fact that You know, they appeared in The Simpsons. They were a funny thing, and they related to the act. So yeah, made sense. Lower East Side Apartments. This is number 9. I like these buildings. Obviously this is the neighborhood that Homer grew up in. It's just a nice little tower, like these nice little tower block buildings. I think they're really cool, and they fit into the you know, with other decorations, and yeah, they're just really nice to decorate. I don't know, there's something about these tower block buildings I really like. We obviously got those ones a while ago with that detective guy, I forget his name now, but the detective guy we got in that one episode tie-in, and of course the Fallen Diva Apartments is one as well, these kind of tower block buildings. The reason why I like this one over the Fallen Diva Apartments, I guess, mainly comes for its relevance in the show, but also I found Fallen Diva Apartments a little bit too wide, so it comes down to really just nitpicky things, but yeah, I think I prefer this one over the Fallen Diva Apartments, and yeah, it's it's kind of an iconic-ish building. You know, it was in the show. I still remember the scene of a naked baby Homer doing like on the clothesline, doing kind of flips, I guess, and yeah, so it's cool to have that building. Invisible House. I really like this building. I didn't think I would at first when I saw it in the kind of content updates page. But there's something about it that was just really unique. It's this kind of almost invisible house, but it's not quite invisible. I would have think it would have been kind of cooler if you can see more through it, but I guess maybe that's the reason why it's not any higher. But for what it is, it's pretty awesome. I like it. It's a fun little building to have in the game. It is premium. It comes with obviously the Invisible Man or Dr. Griffin. Yeah, and it's just a okay building. Well, a pretty good building. Again, it's another residential building. Like I said, there will be some repeats of some residential buildings. There's a lot of them in this list, but yeah, overall, I think it's a cool little thing, perfect thing to obviously come with Dr. Griffin, and yeah, it's a nice building. So yeah, Free Bear's House, another Halloween building. Of course, this was unlocked in one of the acts. It's free, so mainly, partially why I put it above the Invisible House, but also I just think it looks nicer. It's just a really nice little kind of medieval style kind of cottage. There's something about it, I don't know what it is. It's probably just the look of it, but I found it really exciting to decorate, and it looks really cool. Like I said, it's very subjective, a lot of these kind of opinions, and there's some people might not like it, but I don't know, something about this building is simple and it's beautiful. So yeah, Springfield Mystery Spot. So this is number 6. So we're about to get into our top 5s, but before we do, I need to talk about the Springfield Mystery Spot. I don't know what, I think it's partially for the little kind of gag they had with this building, but there's something mysterious about the Mystery Spot. It's just one of these like really unique, odd, kind of quirky buildings, and I don't know, I often love these kind of weird ass buildings that appeared in the show, and I don't know, I just love this building. I think it looks cool. There's nothing particularly amazing or about it. It's not like it's a simple kind of building to decorate or anything. It's just the quirkiness of it is the reason why I put it on the list. A bit of a kind of I guess redactive or redundant kind of criticism of it. I don't know, not criticism or praise of it, but I don't know, something I like about it. I just kind of like that aspect of it. It's kind of simple and easy to decorate. Well, simple and easy to decorate-ish, I guess, but also it's just this kind of quirkiness is the reason why I think it's really cool. So yeah. Anyway, we're getting onto our top 5 now, and number 5 is the Old Theatre District, as you can see. So okay, maybe I'll get some flack for this. I don't know, I like this building. This, again, it's something about it. It's, I guess, similar to the Mystery Spot, but also it's just a really kind of simplistic building. You get 2 in 1 as well, which is awesome. And yeah, we kind of see a lot of theatres around Springfield. Obviously, this one's from the UK. I don't know, they're just nice buildings, I think. Both of them are pretty cool to look at, and it's cool that they obviously have Ian McKellen's name on it as well, and yeah, I don't know, it's just a nice kind of building to decorate, so that's why it's number 5. Yeah, I'll stick by that. So we're getting into the number 4, so number 4 is the original Brown House. Okay, now I've often said in the past that I don't like tapped out exclusive content, so stuff that they make in the game for the purpose of obviously filling out, I guess, a quest or filling out an event. Now, things like Big Claw, I wasn't a massive fan of Big Claw and the inclusion of him. He's a tapped out exclusive if you didn't know. He's never appeared in The Simpsons, and I wasn't a fan of that. Chester, although yes, he's mentioned in the show, but that's a bit of a different one. That was to do with the fact that the episode was meant to air and then it didn't air. They kind of pulled it. So that's more to do with kind of like behind the scenes things. So I don't know, but there's some things about Tapped Out exclusive that kind of annoys me a bit. It's like there's not enough in the show for you to add, whereas the original Brown House, I was fine with it because it works so well. And the Brown House has kind of become a little bit of a meme, almost like Willie's kind of counterparts and Homer's doppelgangers and all that. Yeah, so obviously we have so many Brown Houses in the game. The cool Brown House, the Brown House, the destroyed Brown House, the Powell House. They're all versions of the Brown House in The Simpsons. So this Brown House is obviously the original Brown House, so it's quite exciting. And yes, it's not technically in the show, but it technically is, I guess, in the sense that the Brown House is in the show. And it's almost like they're creating their own lore. And there's something about that I find so exciting, and I really like the whole quest line that revolved around this building. The entire event almost revolves around this building, whereas Alice Glick held the event in some regards. I think the building also held the event, and the animation for this building is so good. And I'm almost pondering swapping number 4 with number 3, but I'm gonna stick with it for now. But obviously this is number 4. I'm tempted to swap it with number 3, but man, the original Brown House is a cool ass building. To add on that, it's a residential building. Residential buildings are really cool to decorate, and they're really easy to decorate. And yeah, I don't know. I think this building is definitely one of the better buildings, definitely the best tapped out original thing we've ever got, for sure. And I think that's partially to do with the fact that the quest line was so strong, especially, you know, it revolved around this building, but it was also a really strong quest line. So that's the reason why I think this building is definitely up there. So yeah, I don't care, it's getting number 4. There you go. That's number 4, and then so number 3 is the Box Factory. Yeah, okay, maybe the original Brown House deserves to be above the Box Factory, maybe. But I have wanted this in the game for so goddamn long. When it came, I was just so happy. And I think this port kind of is almost a bias in some regards, because I kind of wanted this, so of course I'm going to love it. But it's a cool building. And there's something about it. No, it's just, it kind of falls into the same thing as the Mystery Spot, definitely, because it's a unique, quirky, weird-ass building. It's a box factory. It's like the most boringest thing ever, but I'm raving about it so much. And the building looks kind of crappy as well, but I like that aspect of it. I think it's a neat aesthetic. Yeah, it's just a quirky building, and I've kind of talked about the Box Factory so much. Any kind of OG subscribers to my channel know that I've wanted this in the game for a while, so I think most of you who are watching could probably understand my thoughts around it. It's weird, I know, but I've got to give it credit. I got to give it the number 3 spot. Definitely deserves it. The Box Factory, we salute you. So yeah. Anyway, number 2, we're getting nearly there. Number 2 goes to Golden Goose Realty. There's a chance, a very good chance at that people are going to disagree with this one and my number 1. And I will, if you do, fine. I completely understand, because I think, yeah, we could swap them around for sure. Okay, now Golden Goose Realty has, I think the best redeeming thing about this building is its feature. That is, obviously, it can generate land tokens. Now, land tokens have become a real tedious thing since they made them like unlockable. You have to. So there was a thing that it used to be that land tokens could be used as an alternative to cash, but in one update they essentially made it so all the rest of the land, bar like all the new land that they added in, had to be purchased with a land token and could not be purchased with cash. So they made that a feature in the game. So you have to get land tokens, but the issue is land tokens were only unlocked from events. So you would only get land tokens from events, and therefore you couldn't obviously buy land with land. You couldn't buy land. You couldn't get more land because there was no more events giving you land tokens. So them adding this building kind of made it so, well, now you can earn land tokens. My issue is with this building, and what I will argue is now it's kind of a little bit redundant because you can get land tokens in other ways. So the building isn't as great as it was when it first was added. Although I still think it's great that it earns land tokens instead of cash. I think that's interesting and definitely pretty cool. Obviously, it was donuts purchasable. Of course, it would have been. It's a premium item, but I think the price is definitely worth it for the feature. In terms of the look of the building, though, it's fine. It's good. It's just not up there, really, and I think the feature has bumped it up to the number 2 spot, but I can't bump it to the number 1 spot purely for the aesthetic of it. Although it's not bad, it's just not as good as the number 1, in my opinion. So, please do note, that is the reason why I'm not giving this the best building in the game, although I completely understand why people would say that this is definitely the best building in the game. Also, I just want to reference the award ceremony we had, the Tapped Out Awards, obviously, where you guys vote. You guys voted for the blocker land, and I completely disagree. So the blocker land isn't even on this list. I will say that right now. But yeah, in terms of Golden Goose Realty, it's a good building. It really is a good building. It's got a cool feature, but it's just not up there with my number 1. And without further ado, I keep saying that. Further ado. I did that with my award thing that I released before, but that was intentional. But anyway, without further ado, can we have that drum roll, please? The number 1 building is Mrs. Glick's house. Yeah, so Mrs. Glick's house. I can see why people will disagree with me, but this is what I will say. 1, it's free. 2, it looks gorgeous. 3, it's so easy to decorate. 4, it's good. No, I'm gonna say it again. 4, it's the perfect house. I think in terms of like your residential area for Tapped Out, it's so perfect. It's so easy to decorate. It just looks really nice. There's a nice appeal of it. It aesthetically looks just nice. I keep saying the word nice, and it's free, which is so cool because normally these like houses aren't, and it's nice to have something in the game that's free that you can decorate and looks really nice. And I said nice so many times, but yeah, this is subjective. I get this, so I can't really justify it so much. It's more just my personal opinion, I guess. But I just think for everything we've got in 2019, this is by far my favourite building in terms of how it looks in my town, I guess. And although, yes, it doesn't have a feature like the Golden Goose Realty, where it one-ups the Golden Goose Realty is it just looks nicer and it's easier to decorate, and it's just a beautiful house. It's probably one of my favourite houses they've added in the game. I would even possibly go as far to say it's better than the Simpsons house. It looks better. Partially because the car it's actually to size, but yeah, and the garage is to size as well. Yeah, so it's a beautiful building, and that's all I gotta say. Like I said, it's very subjective. Yeah, a lot of residential. Anyway, I'll cut this bit, but there you go. So yeah, I just wanted to say a lot of residential buildings in this list, and I get that. But I think partially it's just that the other buildings don't wow me that much. I think residential buildings I get more excited about because we've got so many like restaurants and shops and these kind of things, and mansions, and these like big mansions. I'm kind of sick of getting big mansions if I'm being honest. So when we get residential houses, residential buildings, like houses and apartments and these kind of things, I know a mansion technically is residential, but it's a bit different. When we get these houses and apartments, I don't know. There's something about it. It excites me. Also, I want to note that, yes, the top 3 buildings are all from the Not Yet Spring Cleaning event, which is further proof that the Not Yet Springfield event, Not Yet Spring Cleaning event, is the best event of 2019. Obviously, again, this is my opinion, but yeah, I honestly think that's the best mini event we've ever got. Not we've ever got, but one of the best we've ever got, and definitely the best of 2019. But yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please do tell me your thoughts. I would like to hear them. Give me your top 5 or your top 3 or just your top 1, or if you really want, you can do me a whole top 10. The worst will be coming out soon. I've got the list nearly done. I just need to I'm probably going to swap a few around. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Goodbye.